So I've just done about 1,000 miles on a big bore kit, and a few months ago I filmed myself fitting it just because I thought that might be of interest to people. And I thought I'd give it a go first before I recommended to anyone that you should do it. I thought I'd make sure that I was sure that you should do it, and yeah, my conclusion is it's been really good. It's certainly not something to do if you think it's a performance, power upgrade. It's not going to give you that unless you. The only way it would be a power upgrade would be if you removed the fuel injection system and went back to carbs. If you did that, then you could tune it properly and make the most of it. But what it does do is change the torque hugely. So that was immediately obvious when I did the work. Even in the first 10 miles, the first check of it, I kept the revs really low, like it was just burbling along. I was really careful with it the first time I got on it, and even straight away it was obvious that the torque was different, which is I wasn't expecting it to be quite so obvious. So you're looking at, it must be 20 to 25% increase in torque, and that after having done 1,000 miles with it, that has been borne out, and I've moved from a 13 tooth to a 15 tooth front sprocket, which means that the speeds available to me are different. So I don't think it's more powerful. The issue is, if this is the rev range, right? The issue is that you lose a bit of the top end. So it no longer revs quite as far as it used to. So you do lose a bit of, probably 15% of the top end of revs, which means that you do lose a bit the kind of top power stuff that's available. But the payoff is that your torque is immediately higher, and that means that you can use larger sprockets, and it was like this thing now will sit very happily at 70 miles an hour on the motorway. It won't go much more than 70, I mean, unless you're going downhill. But yeah, that's been really brilliant. Yeah, so I having done it, I would do it again. I would do a big bore kit again, and having done 1,000 miles on it, I'm a bit more confident that it's a good thing to do. So now, having done it, I probably, and actually one thing that made a difference that I wasn't expecting is it sounds different as well. And when I started out the first time, I was like, of course it's a different volume thing, so it does sound different. So instead of being like bap bap bap, it's like bop bop bop. So I got my big bore kit from Aliexpress. I try not to buy things from China. Well, as in only because of the environmental impact. So I very rarely do use Aliexpress or Amazon or whatever. But this was one of my treat things to allow myself to do that. So I did get a few things from it. One thing that I would say, this is the piston that came out of the original. It's flat-headed. This thing is the big bore kit. This is the piston that came with it. So I anticipated that is what would happen, because this is the default. This is the original design, Suzuki GN125, which is I think it's like K157 FMI. Originally Suzuki used a piston like this, and this because it reduced the size of the explosion chamber, it effectively was a much higher compression ratio engine, and Suzuki, quite wisely, after a few years with this, changed their minds and went to a flat-headed in order to reduce the compression and bring the temperatures down, make them a bit more kind of bulletproof. So I anticipated that would be the case, that it would come with a domed thing, but I don't think the domed thing would fit in the updated head, and therefore I bought, at the same time as buying the big bore kit, I also bought from a different supplier. I bought a flat-headed piston, which I definitely recommend, so it's going to fit inside. So yeah, the other thing is that I went for a kit. So my kit came from a supplier I think called Motoqueen, because it came with a cam that was customized for that size, because you need unless you're going to change the valves and change the head, which you're unlikely to do, you're a bit stuck with valve timings not being enough to let air fuel mix in to the now larger chamber with the big bore kit, and therefore you need to change the cam. So yeah, I would definitely do that. That's what I went with. What else would I say about it? It's probably yeah, I think it's worth doing. You know, I think it's having that torquier engine is brilliant, and it's meant that I could change the front sprocket and sit at higher speeds for longer. And I've used this on really long rides, like I've gone to Cornwall and back, and I've done a couple of 100 miles at a time, and it's been really happy. It's been really happy. I was very careful in the early days. I would recommend that just like if you're changing a cam or changing anything like this, let it bed in. So I did probably the first 30 miles very carefully indeed. After the first 50 miles I changed the oil, and I then did probably 200 or 300 miles keeping it very carefully below about a third of the way with the RPMs, with the revs, and then between that and 500 miles I kept it below half the revs. Once I'd done 500 miles I then changed the oil again, and then yeah, used it steadily and carefully. I didn't thrash it, and I didn't just take it for long rides until after I'd gone through about 500, 600, 700 miles. But yeah, it's been brilliant, and it's got happier and happier as it's gone, as it's sort of bedded in. What you need is for the and there's videos on YouTube about how to make sure that take the rings out and put them in the thing, and you can just file them down, make sure they're exactly the right size, and there's videos about that. But it's really important to let the rings bed in nicely for a bit, with a new cylinder and new piston rings. So it's that's been borne out in how it's performed. It's great. Yeah, I'm really happy with it. So yeah, it does change the sound of it. It does reduce the top end revs that you're able to achieve, but the payoff is torque. You get loads more torque, which means that you can change gearing. And this now burbles along with a much deeper voice, but much happier on fast roads, which is great. Yeah, that's it. Good luck. I had a big cock up where I put this thing back together, and having very carefully put all the gaskets sealant back on and very carefully cleaned it with acetone and everything. I then got it back together and then realised that I'd left out the chain tensioner, the timing chain tensioner. That's annoying. So I just yeah, I had to take it all apart again and get the chain tensioner in. So just but there's going to be stuff that goes wrong, with a job like this. Unless you're doing it day in day out, you're going to forget things and get it in the wrong order. And I would recommend taking photos as you go, or I filmed it because I thought other people might make use of that. But yeah, if you're not going to film it, at least take photos as you go, so that you know which bolts you're needing to replace in which places. Yeah, that's it. Cool. There you go. So here's the video from a couple of months ago of me fitting the thing. Right, I'm going to replace the cylinder with a bored out one to make it 150cc or about 155. Now you might be thinking, why make a slow and rubbish bike slightly less slow and rubbish? It's a good question. Sure, I could get a bigger bike. I've ridden lots of bigger bikes, but I really like sticking with a little bike. They're great. So yeah, I'll be doing that. I'm just going to film doing the whole thing just because it's interesting. So the two in the head, that far side, are really long. Two in the head This side that are short, and then all short, as in there's no flat bit, and then these four around here, 1, 2, 3, 4, are all middle size. Ta-da! Look at that, beautiful. Those are my favourite little rocker arms. Oh, that's so cute. Right, I need to get ready and go away, so I'm gonna pause it here and do it another day. But it's a very beautiful thing, isn't it? Very lovely. A little timing chain. Oh, it's so cute. Oh, it's so cool. Beautiful. Right. Just a note on these things: if you put the oil bendy thing in first, put that in first, and then put one of the thinner rings on from below, and then the one on from above. That works. Whereas if you try and get them all in one go, like I did earlier, it won't work. But yeah, if you do it in the right order, it's quite easy. Just put the fuel tank back on and I forgot to put the engine mounts on. This time, I think everything's back together. Okay. Electrics work.